Welcome back everybody, I hope you're all excellent. In this video I want to show you how I go about making quick and dirty little demo tracks in my home studio. For example, if I'm playing guitar and a riff pops out and I want to record that riff, or if I want to demo a brand new ragdoll song, or if I'm going to do a clip with a guitar tone and put it up on Instagram. This is how I would go about it. This is not a super sophisticated setup. I use a couple of virtual instruments and a couple of pieces of gear that I've been using for a while that get the job done. And the rest of it is pretty much idiot mode. I use a lot of stock stuff in here. So the first thing, I'll grab a guitar, for example, this guitar, my PRS SC245, and I have it plugged directly into my Axe FX3. This is the preset that I'm using at the moment. There is this new triple crest model in the latest version of the Axe FX3 firmware, which I really like. Pretty simple setup. I've got a gate in there, I've got a cab and a little bit of parametric EQ, just kind of fine-tuning the cab. Not too much going on there. Then I have a Pro Tools session over here. By the way, the Axe FX is connected to my Universal Audio Apollo Twin via SPDIF. The reason I'm doing that is so that I can use the Apollo as like the central brain, because I have to record my voice to do these kind of videos. So it's a workflow thing there. There is absolutely no reason why you couldn't use the USB interface in the Axe FX3 itself to do all of this. Or if you're using something like a Helix, or you're just going straight into the UAD, basically similar kind of workflow for the guitars. So I have this template in Pro Tools over here. I should return to the start of it, and I haven't done anything yet, so I'm going to try to come up with something on the fly while we do this to show you guys how it works. And the template is pretty simple. I have a drum instrument in here. I'm using Stephen Slate Drums 5. There's a free version of this that includes a free kit, so you can go and grab this if you want to play around with this. But the kit that I pretty much use all the time is this SSD5 Classic Chili kit. I really like the way it sounds, and it's basically one little tweak that I do in the mix window. I bring up the snare, and I turn up the room level to about -3. And that's pretty much it. So that's my drum track. And then for bass, because I'm particularly lazy, I haven't really been playing bass guitar on most of my demos. I've been using Kontakt and a Kontakt library called Eurobass, which sounds amazing, especially if, like me, you like distorted bass on your tracks. This is just dialed in really, really nice. I love the sound of the amp distortion they've got in there. We'll have a listen to that in a second, and I've done a demo using Eurobass before. It's fast become one of the most useful plugins that I have. So we've got that running in Kontakt. This Analog Dreams plugin is free at the moment as well. If you've got Kontakt, go and get that, because it's amazing if you like 80s synths. Other than that, I have a couple of audio tracks. So I have guitar left and guitar right, because in all of my demos, I generally at least have a doubled rhythm guitar track. There's a track there in stereo if I want to cut a guitar solo on something. And then all these guitars are going to a guitar bus. Now, the guitar bus, I have an instance of this free plugin, Nova. And it's amazing. It's a dynamic EQ, compressor EQ, does a whole bunch of stuff. Like I said, Tokyo Dawn Labs or something like that. I forget what TDR stands for. Obviously, it wouldn't be Labs because Labs doesn't start with R. But I've got an instance of that there, which I will use when I'm kind of mixing the track down, just, you know, to do what you would normally do on guitars. Add a bit of post EQ and maybe a little bit of dynamic EQ. Then I have a reverb bus. I'm using Soundtoys Little Plate, which I got for free. As you can see, a lot of free plugins here. And I have a delay bus as well, and I'm using Echo Boy, also by Soundtoys. Probably my favorite delay plugin, one of my favorite delay things ever. And then I have a master fader, and again I have another instance of Nova. So pretty basic stuff. Now, I've got to come up with a riff. So let's say I was just kind of chunking away doing something in drop C, and you're going to hear the string noise being picked up by the microphone at the moment as well. But, you know, a riff that goes something like this. That's just a little default thing that I always do. So we're going to record that. The first thing I would do is, with that riff, I go up to the little tempo marker in Pro Tools, and I just tap the tempo in. So that riff's kind of going 1, 2, 3, 4. And like a lot of stuff that I play, it's kind of like mid-80s or something like that. Or you could double that and program at halftime, but we'll go with that. Then I will bring up the piano roll in Pro Tools, and I do everything by hand. I really should get a little MIDI keyboard or something to do this, but what I'm going to do first, I'll move this over. Let's set the grid to 8th notes. I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and the first thing I always do is have the first bar just a count in. I like to use hats. So there we go. We have some hi-hats counting that in. And then the next thing that I will do is I'll program a really basic drum beat, like just a kind of kick snare. There's the kick. There's the snare. And let's add a crash on beat 1, because that's what drummers do. Sweet. And then, I don't know, what are we going to do for this kind of riff? It might sound cool, all crashes, might sound cool, open hats. All right, so there we go. This is what the drums sound like at the moment. Wow, that's incredibly not inspiring at the moment, but I will copy this over using Command D, which is a nice little keyboard shortcut. So anyway, we've got that in there. I'm just going to try play along to this. And then what I would go through and do is think about where I want kick drum accents to be. And just so this is a little bit more leveled out, what I'm going to do is turn the velocity on all of these up. We'll revisit this in a second though, because having all the velocities at 127, you know, can kind of sound very, very samey at the same time. So one thing that I like there is, you know, often you want that feel with quarter note hats, but when you do it, it kind of sounds lame. So add in some 8ths. I stole this by watching Ragdoll's drummer Cam play. He was talking about how he loves ghosting 8ths when he's playing a beat like that. So we'll grab all of these and we'll just bring the velocity down. And for that kind of groove, I wouldn't mind it having some energy with some of those weak beats being hit with the kick drum. So I'll just kind of move a couple of these guys around. Let's do that. You know, just get some weak beats in there. Why not? And then we'll put like a crash on the very last. Something like that. Increase the velocities. Again, I'm doing it in idiot mode at the moment, but we'll go and fine tune this. Cool. It might be nice to have a couple of accents that are on the 16ths there. 16ths. I hate saying that word. So I'll like move this one here, and I'll move this guy here. So now we have this. Maybe that doesn't work too well. Maybe I'll just leave that there. So let's increase the tempo as well, because it feels a little bit sluggish at the moment. This is literally my life, especially at the moment. Let's bump it up to 88 and hear it. So that feels a little bit better. Again, I'm just going to kind of go in and fine tune this groove a little bit. So let's have a listen to it. I kind of like a little beat here, I think. That might kind of be cool. Let's hear that. And definitely a hit here, I'm feeling that. Again, just kind of use your intuition. Like, I'm always hearing drums in my head, so I just try to get that out. If you're playing on a keyboard, that might be a more useful thing for you. And this beat seems superfluous to me, doesn't need to be there. Might be cool to have 2 hits at the end, so let's do that. So I'm going to increase all the velocities, listen to this, and then we'll do a little trick with the drums. That's fine. What I'm going to do here is with everything except these hats, I like the way they sound, and I'll leave the cymbals. Let's select these. I'm going to right click, I'm going to go to Event Operations, change Velocity. And what I'll do is I'll go to set all to, let's not do 127, let's do 110, a little bit less. And we'll hit randomize. And I'll put in a value of about 15. So this will randomize some of the velocities. So you can see they're not all the same. Now you get this. That's pretty cool, right? So what I would immediately do is go back over to the tracking window. I'm going to select this and I'll copy it over, let's just say 4 times. Obviously, I would go back and forth with playing a riff and programming the drums and fine-tuning them, but we'll move on. I kind of want to actually show off how I go about tracking something. I'm just going to track a set of that riff, and then I'll go back and I'm going to program that riff in the bass, and then I'm probably going to come back around and fine-tune it with the guitar. So let's just do that. And it was kind of cool having that hit there in the drum track because it made me change the riff a little bit different. You notice that that last chord I kind of doubled up on. So that was pretty cool. Let's just quickly throw in a quick and dirty double. What I've done, I've panned these guitars hard left and hard right at the moment as well. Let's do that. That'll do just fine. Let's hear that back really quickly, just a bar or two. So hearing that, let's just revisit the drum groove one more time, kind of going back and forth. I guess this kind of doubles up as a video about riff writing as well. Let's select this. So I kind of want to get that ba da 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 ga kind of thing. I want some accents in there. So it really feels like one of these kick drums does need to be on beat 1. Maybe I can throw a little kick in here. Yeah, let's just move this, and that should change the way that feels. I can also, with the master bus, I'm just going to turn the guitars down a little bit. Again. And that da-da-da-da-da, you know, we could program something in there which is kind of hitting some of those accents. Sometimes it's cool not to hit every accent, though. You know, it'd be really tempting to put a ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta kind of thing in there. Notice that there's not this beat here. I kind of like that. What could we do? We could put in a little snare hit here. Yeah, I don't mind that. Maybe a... That's what I want. I'm going to turn that up. So just a kind of little ghost note on the snare. It feels like there should be a big crash there or something, shouldn't it? Or maybe what I'll do is I'll take this and I'll turn into a China thing. Yeah. That's kind of cool. I probably don't need this hit here. And again, you can see I'm just kind of going through and farming stuff around. Once I've got the riff settled, I can now go and fine-tune the drums. That's kind of cool. Having it on the China cymbals there just adds enough kind of difference in there. And for now, we're just going to, again, take this and we will control or command D it over. So we've got that. All right. One plugin that I have been using a lot on all of these, I'll talk about it now, is this iHeartNY by Baby Audio. I think it's like $29 or something. But it's just a kind of like New York style parallel compressor, as it says. So if I solo the drums, this is what it does. So I just put it on the whole drum track there, and it just, you know, kind of gives it a bit more beef. It kind of is obviously compressing the room sound in there a little bit. It's not destroying the original signal. It's, yeah, it works. I use this on the bass tracks as well. So let's do that. What I have to do now is I have to figure out how to program this bass line in, and I'm in C, so that's kind of kind of makes things easy, but I am playing this riff in C minor. Again, it's probably a lot easier to just grab a bass guitar, but this is such a part of my workflow now, and I find it just immediately sounds good. I don't have to mix it, basically. That's kind of worth a little bit of extra effort. So let's do that. The first note is C. It's a big C power chord. And why can't I hear the bass there? Have I loaded it up? Do I have something solid? I have the drums solid, of course. So let's have a listen to this. There we go. And the riff is going 1, 2, 3, 4. Ba, da, 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 da. So I think that's a whole quarter note there. I can just move this along. Let's have a listen to that first note. So it's going... That's fairly easy to do. Let's plug these in. And then there's this note. Well, I guess it's a higher, well, it's B flat. And this riff's fairly straightforward. You know, there's a lot of this chuggy thing happening here. And we can go in and change the articulations as well, which I'll show you guys how to do real quick. And then there's this note, which is the fourth. I always just kind of think in intervals with this stuff rather than notes. And then we've got this. This is a really exciting part, I know. And then we're just playing the riff. There we go. I think I've got it now. I've midied the riff. Piece of cake, right? I'll do the same thing with the velocities. And let's do that. And we can also change the groove with a lot of this stuff. You can randomize where notes fall. At the moment, it's all gridded. So let's do this. We'll set all to maybe not 110 with this particular plugin. Let's go 90, and we'll randomize it as well. So let's do that. Now what I can do is I can play around with the articulations, which are somewhere down here. Let's see. So you can hear that. That's kind of like a slidey articulation. Not what I want. Not what I want. I think I like the stock articulation. I'm just going to leave it there. But I put up a video on my Instagram a day or two ago where with this kind of like slightly gentler with it. And I had a bunch of that stuff happening in it, so you can get those little mutes and things like that. I'm just going to leave that as is. I can now go back to the mix window, tracking window. I can kind of unsolo all this stuff as well. And let's just copy and paste that. Cool. I'm almost there with this. Let's have a listen to just the drums and the bass, because the next thing I'll do is I'm going to add some parallel compression to the bass, and then I'm going to level everything out. Let's loop this. That's a whole other rabbit hole. I generally find, though, that that particular kit with those compression settings, and there's somewhere between like -3 and -4 on this. Like I said, idiot mode. I'm not a mix engineer. I just want to get some riffs out into the world. So we've got that. Then let's get these guitars happening in here. So with Nova, and what I normally like to do first is just add a little bit of this plate reverb. Let's have a listen to that with just the guitars soloed. So we'll solo the bus. Well, I solved that. I had to bust out my master guitar bus. So like turning stuff down didn't do anything. I'm a moron. I'll fix that in the edit. Anyway, let's hear it with some reverb now. And I just kind of use that as a thickening agent there, you know, not a whole lot of mix. Same kind of thing if I wanted to add a bit of delay, if I was doing like a clean thing, or I had a synth on there that I wanted to give it a little bit of motion. Other than that, what I would then do to the guitar bus, I mean, this is all sitting pretty good, but if I wanted to, I could do like a dynamic EQ thing with Nova. So what we'll do is, I can solo a band here, which is kind of cool. So let's do that. So there's this kind of chuggy zone in there, which sounds a little bit weird. So what I'll do with that is I'm going to set this up as a dynamic EQ, kind of like the old Andy Sneap multi-band compressor thing. And what we will do is engage this, and let's just have a listen to that. So that's kind of cool. It's just doing a dynamic EQ thing. If I wanted it to be wider, I could adjust the Q. So it's just kind of doing a little bit to those chugs, but other than that, like not too much. You can obviously apply some high and low cut or some just standard EQ in there. The way I've got this dialed in at the moment, I wouldn't necessarily bother with it. And then on the master fader, I just use like a wideband thing in TDR Nova. Yeah, wideband dynamic. There we go. Let's have a listen to what this does. So it's not doing a whole lot. You can go absolutely crazy with, you know, mastering stuff in there. Again, I just use this to make it a little bit louder. I would probably go in there and make sure it's not going too crazy, especially if it was something I wanted to put up online. And then, you know, I could play guitar solo over all of this. That's the fun part, right? So I'm going to track this with this same sound, and then I'm going to use Echo Boy to just add a little bit of delay. A lot of the time, I just track stuff wet as well. But because I've got Echo Boy in there, why not use it? Or actually, let's do this. In the Axe effects, let's add a little bit of stereo pitch detune, because that's kind of fun, and then I'll add some echo with Echo Boy just to kind of make everything fair. So we'll do that. A bit of dual G tune, say 9, 9 either side. We'll make it sound really wide and stereo. Yeah, that should do the trick. It's kind of subtle, maybe turn it up a bit. That's one thing you can do anyway, and I'm just going to kind of noodle over the top of this like I like to do. Let's do that. Something like that, and then we got to add some stuff to this solo to make it sit. So what I will do is add a delay send. I'll make sure that the delay send is assigned on there, and I love Love Echo Boy for just a kind of dual delay thing. It's a wonderful plugin. I probably have to turn the solo up as well. You always got to turn the solo up. That's a pretty cool delay, right? Let's and I would just probably cycle through presets. Like I've got a dual echo on there. Maybe I would turn the feedback up a bit on that and try. There's a really nice, there's like a DM2 style delay in there, which is really nice. So very dark sounding delay on there, just kind of gives it some width and things like that. A lot of the time, I just use a built-in delay on the Axe effects though. I just have the Echo Boy as a backup if I change my mind later. And then I would spend a little bit of time fine-tuning all the levels, which I'm not going to do in here, but that's pretty much it. Like, I have Slate drums, which you can get for free. I have the free version of Contact, and I've got Euro bass in there. iHeart NY is like 29 bucks or something like that. And then I've got the Sound Toys suite. I mean, I got the little plate reverb for free. Echo Boy's always on sale for like $29, $49 or something. It's a great sounding delay plugin. And then TDR Nova, which is amazing. It's free. Dynamic EQ, compression, multi-band stuff, standard EQ. It really is a kind of like a great all-rounder if you don't want to pay for something like a FabFilter plugin. Get TDR Nova. It's really, really great. So yeah, let's just hear that one more time. And I hope I didn't bore you guys to death with this video because I did a lot of kind of fumbling around, and that's just my normal workflow is like, this is really good. Hang on, something doesn't work. Why isn't it working? So thanks for watching. Let's hear this thing that I just did, and hopefully it gives you guys some ideas. I know there's a bunch of companies at the moment, like you can get a 90-day trial of Logic Pro. Reaper have an extended license. Lots of companies at the moment are just kind of offering, if not free software to get creative with, then kind of light versions of all their stuff. And you can do it, you can plug in, you can be creative. It is a great way to spend your time indoors. Let's see what we cooked up.